Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem HaKadosh, double honors to the apostles of GMS, and honors to you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. This is our one brother shared on 19th November, so that will be today. It says UK terrorism chief calls for national debate on criminalizing doubts about that particular thing there. Right, so the UK's top counterterrorism cop has suggested society stop allowing people to question the wisdom of a rapid that thing there rollouts as regarding such skepticism to be life-threatening information. Right, so coming on this tip of, well, these people, if they're allowed to say what they want to say, then, it could harm people's lives. Med Assistant Commissioner Neil Basu has pointedly questioned whether it is correct a thing for society to allow the sharing of misinformation that could cause people's lives, demonizing all doubts about quickly developed that thing whose potential long-term effects are not yet known, and tying them to extremist radicalization efforts. Okay, so we can see exactly what's going on. This man, he's putting the bait out there, right? He's putting the bait out, and we don't know how this thing is gonna move on next year. But we know one thing: we know that the demonization is gonna come, and anyone who isn't willing to take this thing here, right, is gonna be labeled is gonna be labeled something, right? He's going to deceive the sheep, right? The Biden voting sheep, people of that elk, right? To they're more than likely gonna take it, right? And then he's gonna put that division between them and the people that don't want to take it, and then the people that do take it, they're just gonna be like, "Whoa, your life will be good, if you just take it." Right, and this is just a precursor to the chip, and even on that, I was meditating on that also, right, because it made me think of the times in the what do you call it, in the Maccabees. Okay, when it was swine, but in this case it's going to be that chip, right? Since first Maccabees, I just want to jump to the point. Nah, I'm just gonna have to go straight there. First Maccabees 1, and then just find them page if I can spell slut, since we departed. Right, so this is verse 11, First Maccabees 1:11, right? It says, "In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well." Okay, and like I said, this makes me think of this time here now, and the times to come, right? Where I can imagine Jake at first kind of being like, "Nah, I ain't taking this particular thing or the chip," right? But then, when they start losing their goodies, when they start losing their job, when they start losing their house, when life starts getting difficult, right? They're no longer able to go to the club. They're no longer able to go to the sporting events, right? Then they're gonna be like to themselves, well, you know, since we ain't taken that particular thing, or since we haven't taken the chip, right? Then since all of those things happen and our lives have gone to shit, so we might as well just go and take both this particular thing that they're pushing out now, or rather gonna push out, and then the chip. Okay, and what did the scriptures just describe those people? They described them as wicked men out of the hand out of Israel, right? And even then, I'm kind of looking at this guy, right? And even his last name, I'm like, where is this particular individual from, right? Basu, because that could either be like Elam, or I could be one of them countries out there in land of Ham, like East Coast or something. But I don't know. It is what it is, right? But yeah, hey, that's where East was heading with this thing, man. So brought this on the video that I did the other day. Bring it out again. 2 Corinthians 11:14 says, "No marvel for Satan, right, adversary, right, representing this man here is Esau, right, the so-called white man, right, It says himself is transformed into an angel of light, which angel means a messenger. Light, you could use that for representing of truth. Okay, but we're the ones of truth, whereas this man is a man of darkness, right? He's all about meeting in secret and plotting against people and laying traps. Okay, but what he's been able to do is make it seem like he's the one telling the truth, and that anyone else speaking anything is they're the ones that are evil. They're the ones that have ill intent to people, right? But that's just the devil for you, man. Right? He will say stuff like that. Um, uh, Life-threatening misinformation that could cost people's lives, right? But you are represent a group of people, right? Regardless what nation that particular individual from, he represents a group of people that aren't about life, aren't about saving people's lives. Okay, in fact, let me grab that. This is Habakkuk 2:5. No, it's not 5, it's 4, isn't it? No, it is 5, yeah. It says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, right? So philosophies and this particular thing here, that's a philosophy in itself, right? Because you have a conversation with certain people and they will ride die hard for it. When one was speaking to people at the job, right? They were like, oh man, yeah, that's amazing and brilliant. They're not questioning anything, right? Just going to show you just how much Esau has basically got people's minds, right? That's a philosophy, right? Anyone who's opposed to it, Esau's basically created another philosophy and then basically labeled them people something, okay? He's a proud man. Yeah, for you to think you can, just go around and put all of this stuff into everyone and then ultimately put the chip, right? Then that is pride, man. And you can see all of the other proud things that he's done going against what the Mosai said, right? Because scriptures talk about putting cuttings in your flesh, man. It says, neither keepeth at home. Now, do we even need to break that down? All right, it says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death. It cannot be satisfied, right? So Esau just keeps taking and taking and taking and taking and taking, right? That's why he wants to depopulate the earth, right? And it's the fact that we believe that he wants to depopulate the earth, that when he comes out and says, hey, by the way, we've been the devil for all this time, right? But all of a sudden, right, we care about you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? We want to make sure that you don't get a don't get don't get taken by this particular thing here, right? So it says, and is as death. So this man is as death, right? He is as death. That is his nature, right? There are what, 8 billion or so people on the face of the planet Earth, right? And of those 8 billion, Esau only wants 500 million to remain. So obviously he's going to be doing certain things to make sure that happens, right? Why? Because he cannot be satisfied. In fact, the scriptures say this. It's in Matthew 24:22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, they should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Okay? So, Lord's will be of that number. These days are going to be shortened for us because it's going to get bad out here, man. Right? It says, 2nd Ezra's 16 and 71 says, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So this is why the apostles have been putting, his Lord put a spirit on the apostles to constantly push for us to be getting ready mentally and spiritually for what is about to come, what is about to happen in these last days, right? Because, hey, what did it say? But spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. It's happened before, and Esau's trying to make sure it happens again, right? But hey, the Lord is going to protect us, as it's going to go into say, right? So that they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, right? So you think about that particular thing there. They could easily say, if you haven't got it, then you can't stay where you're living, especially if you're in any kind of social housing. right? They just be like, look, hey, if if you want to carry on staying in this, government provided houses, this is one of the stipulations, right? And then also, even if you live in private, right? You might your landlord might be a large company, and that large company might say the same thing. And certainly when it comes to the chip, certainly then. So that's what the Spirit's been on the apostles to constantly be like, look, man, hey, you may have to live out in the woods for a little bit, right? It says shall they know who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So you're going to be going through some things, right? It says, hey, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. And that's the thing, there's this constant, Apostle will speak about how the scriptures repetitious. There's this constant repetition of, yeah, there's going to be a time of trouble, but guess what? The elect of my people are going to be delivered from that time of trouble. They're going to be protected, and I'm going to make a way out for them, right? They just have to have faith. Says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, right? So we can't doubt, can't let the demon of doubt. Hey, if that demon of doubt is jumping on us, then what defense do we have? We have prayer. Pray to the Lord, your Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, remove this demon of doubt from me, right? And if it's getting heavy, they throw up a fast, man. Okay, it says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts. Saith the Lord power, let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Right? Scriptures talk about a righteous man falleth 7 times, right? And but getteth up. Yeah, because Paul spoke about the sin in these bodies. This is Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Okay, so yeah, you know, misinformation that could cost people's lives. Says, where are we? Says his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn. Let me read that again. I think I missed a bit. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Right, so the words of his mouth were smooth than butter. So basically, speaking smooth things, things that sound good, but really, what's he doing? He's plotting to kill you. Okay, that is this man's spirit. In fact, let me read verse 20. It says, he hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. And this is this man's track record, right? This is this man's track record. But people want to trust him. You can't trust this guy, man. You can't trust him. Okay. Oh yeah, and I must needs get this and close, right? Because we ultimately know where this next step is going to be. All of this, policing of content and speech, right? This is Amos 8:11. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh." Okay, so there's gonna come a time you ain't gonna be seeing any videos, right? YouTube might be there, but it might just be cat videos, and that's it. But as for this truth, a law might just pull the plug, and hey, through the spirit, that's the feeling that is amongst the brothers in GMS. Like, look, this man's getting ready to put this truth, to basically bring about this famine of the word. Okay. But yeah, as always, laws what I was edifying. These are the times that we living in. Okay, these are the times we're living in. So to the next time, I say shalom.